Hi everybody. I'm going to try to set a record and keep this one reasonably short. So this chapter talks about display advertising and other customer acquisition techniques. So there are many tools that we use to these ends. They're not all equally effective. That's a really important thing to remember. And the degree or extent to which they are effective depends largely on the business or the industry that you're in and the particular product or service that you're talking about, and how these various tools apply to each of these businesses or industries and their ultimate effectiveness. Different tools are better for different things, some good for acquisition, some for branding, and so on. Networks can serve as a great place to put ads into different places. And of course, one of the great things about the internet is its ability to do precision targeting in a number of ways, both through algorithms that watch your search patterns, but also more currently, so going into social media sites and see what people are talking about or looking for. Again, algorithms can analyze the conversations, looking for keywords, and put very specific offers and ads in front of you. And of course, we want to look at some of the other ways that we didn't just summarize in this particular entree. So what do we mean by customer acquisition? Well, it's just pretty simple. It's getting a new customer. And there's no single operational definition that fits all situations. And in the same vein, there's no one tool that is most effective for any given product or service. So there's a multitude of tools for acquisition, and I'm just going to read off a couple of these. You're all familiar with online advertising, social media marketing, offline advertising and promotion, viral marketing, so on and so forth. What's key about this, I think, and when I look at the full-time university that I work for, and it's a small one in Oregon, they do it internally. Most of the people that are responsible for it in the administrative level don't have any effective training in it. And so they tend to look for silver bullets within these different offerings as a solution to, in this case, recruitment. And there is no silver bullet. It's all about how you understand your customer and the challenges that each one of those represent. Could be where they're from geographically, what their majors are, or their intended majors, all kinds of things, the experience that they're looking for, and then deciding what particular media you're going to use, the messaging that you're going to employ to get these individuals. And so it could be high school students from community colleges or adult learners, and just by defining them in that context, I think it's implicit that there's different media, both non-internet and internet, that are applicable and their effectiveness for each one of those three target markets that I happen to talk about. And so the soup du jour of the month is, or the week for my school, is to spend a lot of money into social media sites. And I'll talk about how I think their effectiveness for this particular product or service is at a later slide. So again, most tools are better for like one objectives, like search for acquisition, email for retention. So that would imply that one technique is good to stop somebody, to create awareness or interest, and that something like email, which is an ongoing communication service, is more effective in staying in conversation or communication with somebody that already knows you. And when you think about that, it makes a lot of sense, because those that come unexpectedly from entities that we're not aware of are generally lumped into the term of spam. So the choice of your tool depends on your campaign objective, whether it's to create awareness, drive people to action to purchase, make your customer service better. There's different campaign objectives, and so different tools are better or worse depending on the tool, and again, on the particular product, service, or industry that you're talking about. So we have different kinds of online advertising. If you go back and to the slide I showed a couple back, it showed all the different tools for acquisition and more. Advertising was one of them, and it certainly is a common one. And one of the reasons it's employed and reasonably effective in terms of mass marketing is that you can do mass pinpoint marketing, I guess is a good way to say it, that you can look at these millions of users that are floating around on the internet in and out of your site or across other sites, and based on their interactive activities and what certain characteristics of their use are, you can identify what ads they might be interested in. So search ads is a big one. I don't search too often on the internet, but most recently I've noted that I'll see something once in a while, like everybody does, and I'll click on it. Most recently it was sort of an army kind of flashlight, supposed to have super high light and this sort of thing. And so I investigated it a bit and did some click-throughs into more detail around the subject, and literally days to weeks later I'm still getting information, pop-ups around that and peripheral kinds of products that the algorithms think I might have an interest in. And I don't, but I can't seem to convince them otherwise. Hopefully they'll give up on me. And I'm not a social media person as far as use. I like to retain my anonymity, but I understand at the same time and appreciate its utility for certain kinds of activities. And certain kind of target markets. So what's interesting, I think, about this particular slide is that traditional channels dominate, new channels are gaining. So in other words, new channels, the social media and such, despite their growing utility, still have not been replaced by traditional media channels. Some things to remember when you are constructing or thinking about a advertising program that integrates the internet into it in all its different methods and tools again, it's keep it simple. The KISS is keep it simple, stupid, so make it simple and easy to understand. Identify the brand early, make brand promises early. Never let creativity trump brand message. What's that mean? Well, I would read that as people buy benefits, not attributes, for one thing. And don't try to get cutesy around an ad and irritate somebody by all the bells and whistles that are popping up in front of them. Make your message very clear, keep it very short and simple, and make sure you concentrate on benefits, the problems that this product is going to solve for you. Again, the internet, we all know that big data allows us to construct very simple messages to very precise targeted audiences. This can be done again through search habits analyzed on the web, or it can be done through analyzing social media sites, conversations that are occurring. They can pinpoint the individuals, make assessments about things they might be interested in based on their participation and offerings to a conversation. Again, you can do it on an individual basis, but at the same time, target marketing really is all about identifying, if it's going to be done efficiently, large groups of individuals that have similar characteristics. So there are many types of targeting based around certain items, geographic, the channel that they're using. So are they using email, or are they using social media? Countertextual, behavioral, are their click-throughs really fast? Do they slow down and look at certain items? So on and so forth. And of course, similar to what I just said, but perhaps analyzed across demographics. So that could be age, gender, ethnic, so on and so forth. So which type of targeting is best? We should know the answer to that, should be implicit. All types of targeting have their uses. Behavioral, what people are actually doing. If available, generally the best option. But the answer will again vary across product, service, and industry, and in some cases demographics. Or a combination of all those things. So what are some different kinds of behavioral targeting? Well, we can target identified users based upon, again, search habits, which are determined through cookies or tagging. Again, how they interact with their keyboard itself, the products that they are interested in looking at, and with algorithms applied to these variables that I'm just mentioned, you can produce some very sophisticated models to predict behavior. And examples of that are, it was Amazon that sort of pioneered it. Well, actually, it was the porn industry that pioneered it. They watched, because that was one of the things that was used, the internet was used primarily for initially. And they were the ones that looked at people's use, what they were viewing, and could make the determination that if you like this, then you will like this. And it was Amazon that, in a more generic market, did exactly the same thing, that they said, if you like this book, then you'll like this book. And then they began to apply it to music. If you like this artist, then you'll like this artist. Or if you like this artist's song, you'll like their other song, this, if you haven't already heard it. So that's been one of the actual, it's a boon and a bane for the internet. I mean, the upside is that you can provide great service in the examples, through the examples that I just gave you, like if you like this artist, you like that artist. If you like this author, you like that author. The downside is that people develop bubbles and they begin to operate in those bubbles, and they look for information that reinforces those bubbles, particularly around things like news. So if you like this hateful article about this topic, you'll love this other person that's writing about it. And you start to really narrow down your sources of information like you do on your music and your artists in that regard. And that's where fake news knocks on the door of opportunity to tell you, fundamentally reinforce a message that might reinforce what you want to hear. So what are some examples of behavioral targeting? Well, again, I talked about Amazon in that respect. And it applies to music and, excuse me, all kinds of things. Again, social networks offer highly targeted advertising on their site. Facebook kind of brought that format and that platform into existence for myriad different items, not just singular topics like books or music, but for a myriad of different things that people constantly talk about. Now, this makes the point that other acquisition techniques include events, publicity, affiliate, portal, and viral marketing, and these all can occur on the web, but they occur outside the web as well. And so I hope I've made the point a couple times prior to this that your online strategy should be part of an overall marketing strategy. And you should be able to connect all of your objectives and your tactics in media that are non-internet to those different channels or venues on the internet itself. So that would mean if you're going to have an internet strategy, it's a subset of your overall strategy, and there's lots of subsets of your internet strategy, like online advertising, like email, like social media, and it isn't any one that's going to give you a panacea or a silver bullet. It's a combination of all of them, and based on your understanding of their application to your product or service. So traditional events occur like offline trade shows, product launches, seminars, and so forth. And you can actually use the internet, obviously, to augment any of these things, and that's what you want to do. It's called an integrated marketing strategy. Online events for testimonials and events, trade shows, offerings, so on and so forth, via pop-ups are more and more common. You all know what press releases are, I assume, as a part of one of your 5 promotional legs, promotion being one of the 4 P's or marketing mix. So within promotion, PR is a big issue, and that's where normally press releases would fit. And the internet is a very good place to either host your press releases, because you can have a large amount of information there. So you may have a press release in a on TV, or you have it in a newspaper, or you release it through emails to key customers, and you can direct them to the URL that would host the majority of the information that you want to share within your press release. Affiliate marketing is where there's a common thread that ties certain products together, and so they'll share a site, or they'll share a page. You've got multiple ads going on because the customer that is looking at the primary ad will likely be interested in some of these other ones. And so maybe you're booking a trip at a hotel, and so you have car rental offers coming in, airline offers, restaurants, food, and tourist kinds of packages for sightseeing, all kinds of things. So that would be a good example of affiliate marketing, and it's very effective at, quid pro quo of not just for cost sharing, but on a general sense, sharing a customer who doesn't cannibalize your own business, and creating a time-saving, hopefully one-stop shop for an array of products that are interrelated. And finally, the last one is viral marketing. It's great if it happens, but it's not something on which to base your strategy. So that's the end of this presentation, and just a quick point, some of these subsequent videos that you're going to listen to, I made for a previous section of this class about a year ago when I had just one student. So I call him by name when I was making the videos, or audios, the PowerPoints. And so just kind of ignore that, and I'll be talking to you.